In this lecture, we are going to look into the list controls. We will start off by discussing the list box, followed by the combo box, and the next one is the checklist box, and the last one is the list view. So let's look into the differences of these list controls. List box provides you a list of items which you can choose from it. The checklist box is almost the same as the list box except that there are checkboxes before the item. So you can check the items by ticking those checkboxes before each item. Combo box is a combination of a list box and a text box. You can choose an item from the provided list, or you can type it inside of the text box. List view provides you a multi-column list of items wherein each column can be resized and each item can be selected. We will create a simple Windows Form application that uses each of these list controls. So I have already created a new project. So what we will do next is to add the list box. So we have now the list box, and then the next thing that we have to do is to add a meaningful name to the name property of our list box. So I'm going to call this LST cars. There are two ways on how to add items. Number one is by using the items property of the list box. So let's go to the items property and then click the ellipse button. And then from here, let's type the items that we want to add. Let's say we have Everest. Okay, so there you go. We have now the first two items. If we are going to run this application, we will see that we have two items inside of our list box. Okay, so let's add more items, but this time in programmatical way. So I'm going to open the load event of this form by double clicking on the empty space of our form. So we are now inside of the load event of the form. So let's type here the name of our list box, LST cars, and then the items property, and then the add method, and then the items that we want to add. So we want to add, let's say, wild track, and then let's copy and paste this one, Raptor. Okay, so we added 5 items, and then let's see what will happen when we run this application. Okay, so the default items are still there, the Everest and the EcoSport, and then these are the newly added items. So let's turn this application to more fancier by adding a combo box. We will name this combo box CBO cars. And then from here, we will add items programmatically. Instead of using LST cars, what we will do is to change this into CBO cars. So let's start renaming each of this CBO cars. And then let's do a copy and paste. And then let's try running this application. Okay, so we have only 2 default items inside of our list box, but for our combo box, we have these items here. So we can choose from this list, or we can type inside of our combo box. Then we will add 2 buttons, the add and delete. So we will create add button to add items from the combo box going to the list box. And the delete button will delete the items that we select from the list box. Then let's add an event handler inside of our add button click event. Okay, so let's double click this button. And then we will state here LST that add items or items add and then CBO cars dot text. All right, so let's try running this. So from this combo box, if I'm going to choose Tundra and then clicking the add, it will add items from our combo box going to the list box. Okay, so let's try adding Navara and then Hilux. Okay, so the next thing that we will do is to delete the items. Select the items from the list box, and then once we click the delete button, it will remove the item from the list box. So let's select the delete button and let's double click so that we can see the click event for the delete button. All right, from here, we can delete items from the list box by specifying the name of the list box, and then we will use the remove at, and then we will specify the index, which refers to the position of the item. And we can do that by stating here that selected index. Okay, so whatever the selected index or whatever the index of that selected item, it will be that index that will be removed from the items of the list box. Okay, so let's try running this application and then let's delete. So it will raise an error because by default, there is no selected item inside of the list box. And we can avoid this by making an if statement here that if there is no selected item in the list box, and that is -1. So whenever the selected index is -1, it indicates that there are no selected item. So if that is the case, then we will just return, meaning we will not continue proceeding on the succeeding lines. And then we will display a message box informing the user that there are no selected items. Okay, so let's try running this again. So let's perform a deletion. So no selected item. So the application tells us that there is no selected item. If we select one, delete, so it removes the selected item. If we choose an item from the combo box, then add another one. Let's add, let's select, and then delete. Okay, so there you go. So we made a simple application that uses a list box and a combo box. We use the combo box to select an item, and then clicking the add button will add that item to the list box. And then once we select an item from the list box, clicking the delete button will remove that selected item. Okay, so that ends this video, and see you in the next lectures.